Now, some of you can tell very clearly that there is something very wrong with Donald Trump right now. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump's cankles. I'm not talking about Donald Trump's hands. I'm not talking about Donald Trump's brain. What I'm talking about is that Donald Trump seems to think that he solved autism. We have to have a real conversation about what went wrong here. Trump says he believes his new vaccine recommendations will prevent autism. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Milk in school, and we introduced the real food pyramid and reformed the vaccine recommendations to protect America's youth. We're making America healthy again. We're strongly requesting, even telling people when you get your shots for your young child, and this has to do, we think, with preventing autism, that you go to the doctor for 5 small shots instead of 1 big, massive shot. You do it in 5 different shots. 5 different shots. Small, little shots where those beautiful little bodies can handle it. And I think you're going to see a very big difference in the rate of autism, which is like an epidemic, what's happened with autism.
Understand what Trump is saying. He's saying, I believe that if you split up vaccines for kids, you will see a notable decline in the rate of autism. That is an insane thing, absent any research supporting that idea for a president to say. We have no research that spacing shots out will reduce or change autism rates because autism isn't caused by vaccines. And it wouldn't be prevented by rearranging the schedule. It's been studied endlessly. What we've got is the president of the United States at a lectern describing beautiful little bodies handling teeny tiny little demure shots, presenting himself like he cracked a medical mystery, which has been studied for decades. He is parroting completely unscientific and, quite frankly, creepy medical misinformation. And there are people who are going, it's so great that he's working on this issue. He cares so much. He split up the shots for his kids. No, he didn't. Even that story that Trump has told is bogus. And we know it's bogus because the individual shots were not available in the United States, certainly not at the time that he says Ivanka got the separate shots. Now, speaking of things nobody wants to address directly, look at this. As other speakers were speaking, Donald Trump's skin on his right hand is so discolored, it's almost bright white. And this is, of course, the growing mystery around Donald Trump's hand bruising, which they said, oh, it's from shaking so many hands. Well, Trump only shakes hands with his right hand. Why is his left hand also bruised? He then started putting bandages on the hand, but that was very conspicuous. So then he started putting makeup, except the makeup is not really matched to Donald Trump's skin tone. Nobody has actually given us a satisfactory explanation from this. And Trump is just standing there with the top of his hand 5 shades too light. And everybody just keeps moving and goes, oh, there's nothing. There's no need to worry about that. We then got to the topic of Caroline Leavitt, who was in the audience for this speech of Donald Trump's yesterday. And Donald Trump again goes with this thing. He's just joking. She loves her children more than Trump because she's quitting. It's just a joke. But deep down, I think Trump really is confused. How could somebody want to just hang out at home with their kids rather than to work for me and defend all of my harebrained lies? How is that possible?
And our press secretary, a mother of 2, and well, she decided she loved her children more than she loved Donald Trump. I'm very upset about this.
So funny. Just a joke, right?
She has to go home and spend time with her children. That does happen on occasion with some people when they love their children, and she does. And Caroline, congratulations on your newborn, your perfect newborn. And she's done a fantastic job. She's been a great, great press secretary. Now, if I say you're the best of all time, I have Sarah sitting here, so I'll have...
He's describing a staffer choosing her own kids over him as this strange affliction that she came down with. And he really is telling on himself here because that is how loyalty is ranked for Trump. And choosing your children over defending Trump's lies to Trump is a surprising outcome. How could anybody choose that? That doesn't make any sense. Now, maybe the most surreal moment as Donald Trump wraps up, The band plays, someone told me this was a reggae version of YMCA. It seems more like an elevator muzak type version. Listen to this. All right. So anyway, if I hope people weren't eating during that. What we are now getting is a steady flow of medical misinformation delivered by the president as if he is doing some kind of personal triumph. I figured it out. We're going to give people little shots and then autism will go away. His hands are visibly injured. We still don't have an explanation. And then he jokes about how could a staffer love her own kids more than she loves me. Now, individually, these items are odd, but this is a pattern. And the pattern is there is a system in place at the White House that rewards all of the wrong traits. Confidence while delivering medical disinformation, that's to be admired. Choosing Trump over your family, that is to be admired. And somehow Caroline Leavitt didn't do it, and that is a real problem. Everything is backwards, and it is incredible that those who claim to be on the side of the moral majority are completely comfortable saying Trump is my guy. It's disgusting at the end of the day. Sometimes the most important part of a political story is not what gets reported, but what gets placed in the center of the frame. And that is why our sponsor, Ground News, is so valuable. Take a look at Trump's Medicaid work requirement rule. The underlying story is that a lot of adults on Medicaid will have to do 80 hours a month of work, school, or volunteering to keep their coverage. When our sponsor Ground News lines up the sources, the framing really changes. On the left, the focus is human consequences. What happens if you're sick and you lose coverage? On the right, it's how much will it cost to implement these requirements? What about states saying that's going to be really expensive? And what's revealing is only around 10% of the coverage is coming from right-leaning sources. They're mostly ignoring the story. Ground News will flag gaps like this through its blind spot feed, so you can see when a major story is getting very little attention from one side of the media landscape. Go to ground.news/Pakman for 40% off the same Vantage plan I use. The link is in the description.